Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. And we've got information on the A2A simulations Comanche, the latest release of the A330, including the business jet ACJ330, as well as a new Citation coming our way. Stick around, guys. Make sure if you guys can that you join us at Flight Sim Expo 2023. That's right, Overkill Simulations is going to be present this year, guys, at the Lone Star Museum in Houston, Texas. If you guys are interested in joining us there, be sure to check down the description below. There is a coupon code that can save you guys a bit of money using my personal reference to get you there. Again, that'll save you a bit of cash in your Flight Sim Expo 2023 experience. This is going to be June 23rd through the 25th of 2023. Again, in Houston, Texas, at the Lone Star Flight Museum. I went a few years ago in Las Vegas, and they are an absolute great time. There's some very, very informative and educational seminars to help better your flight simming experience, as well as a ton of developers of both hardware and software that you guys actually get to try out, essentially a try before you buy experience, as well as talking with the developers themselves and finding out what the products are all about. So again, guys, it's going to be Flight Sim Expo 2023 in Houston, Texas. I hope to see you guys all there. Don't forget to use my coupon code that you can find down in the description below. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come along down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below, and thank you to all of my current subscribers. Let's get started with A2A Simulations Comanche 250. This is an aircraft, guys, that we talked about briefly a while back now. There's still a lot of work to do. We still don't have a release date yet, but things are definitely changing. So first off, the aircraft has been in beta testing for quite a while. Beta testing is always a good thing. That means that things are starting to move along and progress. Now, the latest piece of information that we have is that A2A Simulations is preparing a bunch of tutorial videos for the aircraft. Guys, based on everything that I have read and all the statements that have been delivered by A2A, we're going to talk about some of those statements here in a minute. You can absolutely expect that this is going to be a study level aircraft. And you guys know I don't particularly care to use that terminology, but this is definitely going to be on that mark. One of the things that really fills me with a lot of joy is hearing that A2A, from their own words, have stated that this particular aircraft, they have dedicated more time, more hours, more money, and more resources into the development of this project than any other project they have ever released. Every time that they have any kind of issue or change with the simulator, they go back up in the real Comanche and verify what the behavior should be and what we as the simulation pilot should expect. So this is supposed to be extremely authentic to the real aircraft. Again, no price point yet, no release date yet. They haven't even hinted as to when it should be coming. The one thing that they did say is that the tutorial videos are going to be taking quite a bit of time and, again, effort in order to get them out and get them into a position where they feel comfortable with it. Now, they are also using these tutorial videos to, again, put themselves back in the cockpit of the real aircraft every time they see something that goes, maybe that's not quite right. Let's go find out. Which, let me tell you, that's got to suck, right? That just has to be the most horrible thing in the world. Oh no, we have to go fly our Comanche because I'm not sure if that's right. I would be making up excuses all the time. I'm not sure the right wing is supposed to stay that perfectly level. Let's go test it. Anyway, that's just me. So super, super excited for this one. This is the Comanche is a hot little aircraft. It's a fun aircraft. I like the way it looks. It has that very airplane look to it. If you guys know what I mean, if you know, you know. But stick around, guys, because as more information comes down the pipeline from A2A on this one, I will definitely be reporting on. This is an aircraft that I am super, super wanting to be here like yesterday. So I'll be watching it, and as soon as I hear more, so will you. The team over at Pilots continues to turn and burn as they wrap up the production of the Dash 7. They announced that they are working on the Cessna Citation X Plus or 10 Plus. So we don't have a ton of information on this yet, other than it is in development, and we know that it's going to be sporting the very awesome G5000 suite, much like we see in the Cessna Citation Longitude. Now, the Cessna Citation X Plus is one of the fastest business class jets in the world, approaching darn near Mach 1. It's like Mach 0.936 or something like that. Ridiculously fast. Okay, this is going to be one of those ones where, yeah, you're going to make the trip very quickly. I can't wait for this aircraft. This aircraft would be absolutely just perfect. I love the Cessna Citation Longitude, even with all of its quirks and weird behaviors and the things that we've had to overcome in the time that the Cessna Citation Longitude has been in the sim. I love flying it. I think my favorite part is the climb. The thing screams to 41,000 feet like you were sitting still. It's just awesome. So now coming up with an aircraft that we know is going to be significantly faster than the Longitude. And the Longitude cooks. I mean, you cruise at like Mach 0.82, Mach 0.83, somewhere around there. And to give you guys perspective, Mach 1, for those of you who don't know in knots, is 666 knots, 767 miles per hour, depending on how you want to reference it. So, you know, Mach 0.936, you're talking like, what would it be, 715, 720, somewhere around there is what that would look like. So this is going to be freaking awesome. I have no idea what the development timeline is going to look like or authenticity to the real aircraft. I don't know if they have access to the real aircraft. There wasn't a whole lot of data or information provided as to the development steps that are being taken to make the aircraft. I know for a long time, Cessna was pretty hush-hush about a lot of their newer aircraft. Now, I don't know if any of those embargoes have been lifted, and if they actually have access to the real-world documentation for the aircraft, or if we're just going by speculated data. No idea to any of that. But for example, I know like, who is it? What, like the Jetstream? No, not Jetstream. Who makes the G36? G6, whatever. Not the G36, but the G6, whatever. I can't remember what they had. Gulfstream. That's what I was trying to think of. I know that they're pretty hush-hush about their aircraft, too. That's why we don't really see many in the simulators. I think it has to do with the fact that they won't let anybody do it with the licensing. So I thought that Cessna had done something similar, and that's why it was so hard to find information on the Longitude when it first came out. So all I can do is speculate, but I'm really hoping they have access to the real world documentation on the aircraft and that they're able to bring the performance data, you know, up to an ideal point. I'm not going to call it study level, high fidelity or anything like that, you know, but speculate away with me, guys. You guys tell me what you think is going to happen, but I am really excited for this one. I love the little business jets. I think they're more fun than the big ones, personally. Speaking to the big ones, we have the freeware Airbus A330neo from Headwind Simulations was updated to version 0.40. This brings quite a few updates to the aircraft. It includes the stable version of the Flybywire system, version 10.0. They've also reworked some texturing, fixed some bugs, and Headwind has said that this is the largest update that they have added to the aircraft thus far. Added way more realism and features to the wide-bodied aircraft, bringing it closer to the real-world simulation. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't mean it's a high-fidelity aircraft or study level, but it's definitely on its way in bringing everything back to where it needs to be. One of the really cool things they added to it is the ACJ330. The ACJ330 is basically, think of it as a business version of the A330, but it's not actually in development. This was an experimental version of the aircraft. Now, I don't know how Headwind got the documentation or whatnot. That's none of my business. But what they have stated is that they have made this particular version of the aircraft that you're seeing here on the screen as close to real-world specifications based on real-world specifications and data, including the maximum takeoff weight of 251 tons and a capacity of 90 passengers, with the configuration specifically designed to emulate the type of aircraft that would be used by governments or government officials, quote unquote. So, kind of a different perspective from the A330. I haven't flown the A330 in quite a while. Now, there is a full changelog available on flightsim.to if you guys are interested as far as grabbing this aircraft. Again, it's completely free, and they've really done a really good job. Now, a couple of things that I will talk about here is they've added a first officer EFB fly pad. So now you have the fly pad on both sides. They've made some changes to the glass and reflections, so that's going to make things hopefully a bit easier in VR. And then a bunch of other things as far as lighting, landing gear updates, landing light effects, impacts, overall ambient effect on the aircraft, and much, much more. So make sure that you guys go ahead and hit over to flightsim.to. A link to the aircraft will be down in the description below, as always. So make sure that you guys check that out if you're interested in flying this wide-bodied beast. I will tell you, she is fun to fly. I haven't flown it in a very long time, but it's a good aircraft. Definitely holds its own. Well, my dear friends and simulators of the sky, that is going to wrap up this particular video of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. I hope you were all having a wonderful week. We are halfway through it. It is Wednesday. Count the days down, guys, to the weekend. We're almost there. Keep your heads up high, keep the blue up top, and I'll see you guys in the next one.